Here are all of the reasons why I dislike the book It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I do want to start this video by saying that this is simply my opinion. I am aware that Colleen Hoover is a very popular author here on BookTok, and I'm not trying to come for her fans. I'm just trying to share a little bit more of my experience reading this book. I also really don't think not liking this book is a flex in any shape or form. There are many other popular BookTok books that I have read and really enjoyed, it just wasn't one of them. My first issue with this book is that the characters in the story seem very made up. I'm pretty sure every character in the story is between their early 20s to their mid 20s. And they are all so successful. Every single character in the story is very wealthy, very successful, and very happy in their careers. As someone that is in her late 20s right now, I think it really represents the self-doubt and struggles that you go through in that period in your life. Secondly, I feel like Colleen Hoover did very little research when it came to Lily's business. It's an instant hit. Opening a business is very difficult. It comes with so many challenges, and I just didn't feel like those challenges were portrayed at all in this story. However, my biggest criticism with the story is, of course, the relationship between her and Ryo, and more specifically, the way abuse is portrayed in the story. I am not saying any of these things to invalidate anything that Colleen Hoover or her mother have gone through in their personal lives. I'm just talking about how this was portrayed in this story. Halfway through the mark, you can kind of see how this relationship is affecting Lily mentally and of course physically, but I don't think that Colleen Hoover explored how that really affects women as well as she should have. One of the things that stood out the most for me is that right after she has the worst night of her life, she leaves Ryo, she goes to Atlas's house, she spends the night there, she wakes up, she hears a knock at the door. And it's a bunch of men who are there to play poker, I think, with Atlas because it's poker night at his place. Lily is a little bit nervous at first, but right after she's completely fine hanging out with a bunch of men she has never seen in her life after the worst thing imaginable could have happened to her. The whole scene just felt very absurd to me. It just made me feel like the author's exploration of physical abuse was just a plot device. I also really didn't like the fact that towards the end of her pregnancy, she still lives with Ryo. What truly drove me crazy in this book was her speech in the end of the story, because she did one of the things that I hate the most. Classic speech in which someone tells a man to imagine the situation being done to a woman in their lives, because they can't possibly see just women as human beings. I don't like that the only reason he truly realizes how badly he hurt Lily is when he can only consider the pain that he inflicted upon her being inflicted on a woman that he sees some kind of like ownership over it. Once again, that's just my opinion. Writing is subjective, stories are subjective, and a single person will experience reading a story in a completely different way. I'm sure there are plenty of books that I love that you probably cannot stand.